Latest research on Afro DNA pre-Columbus. Let me quote Dr. Clyde Ahmad Winters on his seminal 2015 paper titled Inference of Ancient Black Mexican Tribes and DNA, Spanish Eyewitness Accounts, Mayan Skeletons with Sickle Cell Anemia, and West African skeletal remains generally indicate that there were Black Native Mexican and Mesoamerican communities in Mesoamerica before 1492. Results: Indigenous Mexican and African archaeogenetic DNA and HLA resources were analyzed to determine to what extent admixture had occurred between these populations. The sample indicated that indigenous Mexican-African admixture has taken place across Mexican fundamental male and female lineages. In addition, archaeogenetic evidence including African Mande inscriptions, Mande substratum in Mayan languages, Africans depicted in Mayan murals at San Bartolo and Zultun, African skeletons generally, and ancient Mayan skeletons with sickle cell anemia support Spanish eyewitness accounts of Black Native American tribes. Conclusion: we demonstrate that given the age of the African skeletons, excavated at Mesoamerican archaeological sites and Spanish eyewitness accounts of Black Mexicans, indigenous Mexican-African admixture occurred prior to the European discovery of America. The date for the African skeletons indicate that there were several waves of West Africans who probably introduced African haplotypes into the Americas. It is often explained that the features of the Olmec heads depict native Mesoamericans, and thus could not have been African. We see from this paper that, in fact, the Mesoamericans have these features because there was significant introduction of West African genetic material in their lineage. This is denied today not because it lacks veracity, but because of the intentional dissemination of the perverted view that paints Africans so as to be hated. And yet, they didn't just sail to the Americas once. They may have done it throughout history and helped spark civilization in the Americas by crossing the Great Sea. Funny enough, if you search on the internet, you'll find plenty of pseudoscience articles claiming the contrary, or only citing part of a genetic research that makes it seem like there were no Africans before Columbus. So the next time someone goes out of their way to try and say that there was no African presence and influence pre-Columbus in America, you know where to send them. Support Without History on Patreon and follow us, and see how those who are said to be without history birthed civilization itself.